Good morning, all of you. This is Dr. Krishna. Today we are going to see the chapter 7 under portfolio selection, management, and evaluation. So overall, we are going to see the portfolio management chapter 7 under financial markets and institutions course. Let's see one by one. What is portfolio? Portfolio, I think you have various investment options. You have various investment options like shares, bonds, debentures, fixed deposits, savings bank account, insurance policies, pension schemes, like that. There are many investment options which are available. Combination of all those investment options are coming under portfolio. Portfolio means number of stocks which are there in the form of investments. And if you see the meaning of this, the portfolio refers to a collection of investment tools. Collection of investment tools. Collection of investment tools means it is like refers to a collection of investment tools such as stocks, mutual funds, bonds, cash, etc. Depending upon the investor's income and budget and convenient time frame. Based on this convenient time frame, based on that income and budget, they'll maintain a different set of investment alternatives. All those different combination of a different set of investment alternatives are called as portfolio. That is what the meaning of combination of different investments are called portfolio. So we see one by one what is the meaning. See, if you see my portfolio, I'll take my personal example here. Here see in 2006, I was a farmer. Working here. It is my picture. And if you see in 2006, I was working as a farmer when I was doing my graduation, part-time, like one side study, another side farming as a farmer. And in 2016, in the span of 10 years, I became an associate professor in a business school in India. In 2008, my salary was 800 per month. In 2016, 60,000 per month. By now, 2020, 125,000. So how it has become like this? How it is possible means maintaining the portfolio, different investment options, and you need to be a disciplined and hard work. So it is possible. And if you see my personal example, if you see my monthly investment, my portfolio, my monthly investments, if you see different investment options are there. What are those? If you see my monthly investment and family security is that mutual funds. I'm investing small investments in mutual funds, which are mutual fund, which is facilitating the small investors with the small investments, which is managed by company. You have to give small amount of money. So like this mutual funds are not there in your Ethiopia. So mutual funds every month, systematic investment plan means every month 500,000. If you give money to mutual fund company on behalf of you, they'll invest in the stock market. So that is what mutual fund I have. Nearly 4,000 worth of mutual funds are there. Every month investment, share market investments are there. Like I have shares, 3 company shares. I'm investing in that company shares, and insurance policies for my children's education. Something happens to the parents, then insurance company will take care of my children's education. So like this gold monthly systematic investment plan, every month 1,000 to 2,000 worth of investment will be done in gold, buying gold online. Like this, it is useful because in India, gold is more demand for girls. If you want to get marriage to the daughters, a lot of gold is required. From now, I started investing in gold. So by 19 years, after 19 years, it will become a very huge amount of gold, so that I can celebrate my children's marriage or my daughter's marriage. So personal insurance for 6 million. Insurance policies are there. Pension schemes for me and my wife. Retirement plan. Every month I'm investing, and investment with the medical insurance. every month I'm paying. So these are all different investments that I've been making. Combination of all these investments are called it as a portfolio. This is my personal portfolio every month that I've been investing. I've been investing. So that is my personal example of monthly investments and portfolio maintenance. So how do we portfolio management? Which one is, how do we manage this portfolio management? Portfolio management meaning the art of selecting a right investment policy for the individuals in terms of minimum risk, maximum return is called portfolio management. The main objective in my portfolio, there are stocks, there are insurance policies, there are medical insurances, there are pension schemes, there are mutual funds, there are many investments are there in my portfolio. So in that, the which one is giving a minimum risk and maximum return? The stock which is giving a minimum risk and maximum return, the portfolio must be managed like this. The stock, the investment which is giving a minimum risk and maximum returns, that is called managing the portfolio management, selecting the stock which is giving a minimum risk and a maximum returns. So that is what the meaning of a portfolio needs. Why need this portfolio management? Yeah, portfolio management is required. Blindly, if you continue the same investment, it may give profit or loss. Don't know. So that's why continuously you have to change the share companies. Now you have a bank shares. Banking shares are not good, means remove the banking shares and buy the software company shares. So like this, removing and eliminating the stock and buying a new stock, adding a new stock to your portfolio is called as a portfolio management. So why you need this for portfolio management? Portfolio management is required to reduce the risk without affecting the returns. So where the stock which is not working well, then remove that stock, remove that share and buy the share which is giving a more return. So reducing the risk reduction and increasing the without affecting the returns, that is needed for portfolio management, and helps the investor in rational decision making. Rational decision making, which one is good, which one is not good, which one is profitable, which one is not profitable. So we can do analyze by doing portfolio management. That is why it is useful. It helps to select a best investment portfolio by identifying the asset class that investors should invest in. What are the investment class? Like asset share is one paper asset, the paper asset which is there in the paper form, and these are all like the portfolio is useful for reducing the risk and without affecting the returns, and helps in investors in rational decision making to make good or bad decisions regarding the returns and losses of investments, and helps to select best portfolio is useful for portfolio management. So that is one thing that we can say that. And objectives of portfolio management. What are the various objectives which are there under portfolio management? Safety of principal amount. First objective, why you are investing for returns. First, okay, returns is different story, but first you need to have a safe for principal amount. At least when you are investing, when you are getting the loss, at least you should be able to protect your principal amount. Okay, so that's why safety of principal amount is required. That is the main objective of your portfolio. When you are maintaining the portfolio, see for the safety of your principal. Next, you see for the returns. Next one is the investment of the disposable income. Investment with disposable income means which is their extra funds with your bank account or with your salary. Any extra money is there. That extra money can be useful for the investment of disposable income. Income generation is possible by maintaining the portfolio management. And growth in capital. Today you are investing in one share which is there 100 bir worth. Tomorrow it may go 120 or 130. A capital growth. There may be a capital growth when you invest. That is the main objective of portfolio management, is that growth of capital. And marketability means if you want to make the profit, then immediately you can sell these shares to someone. Marketability, selling to others, is possible by maintaining the portfolio management, removing and buying a new securities, removing the old securities which are not profitable. Is marketability is possible to sell to someone. So that is another objective of my portfolio management, is marketability. And liquidity, whenever you need money, your share market investment can be converted into cash by selling to someone. That is called making liquidity is possible in a in portfolio management. Another objective of portfolio management is liquidity, converting investment into cash. So next one is a well diversified portfolio. Well diversified portfolio means don't put all eggs in one basket. Means don't put total investment in one area. Means don't put total amount in share market. Don't put total amount in bonds. Don't put total amounts in real estate. Like this, you need to have a combination of all these investments. That's why well diversified of a portfolio is possible with a portfolio management. That is another objective of portfolio management. And minimum tax burden. Minimum tax burden means if you invest, say for example in India, if you take up to 150,000, if you invest in stock market, that 150,000 is exempted from the income tax. So I mean that's that 100 up to 150,000 insurance policies are exempted from the income tax. So like this, you see the investment which is reducing the tax burden. So that is the main objectives. These are the main objectives of portfolio management that we can discuss in. And if you see these phases of portfolio management, what are the different phases of portfolio management? If you see this, first you need to have a security analysis. Security analysis means there are 10 companies, bonds, debentures, fixed deposits, and shares. Which one is good? Is it a bond is good? Is it a debenture is good? Is it a fixed deposit is good? Is it a share is good? Like this security analysis. Securities means investment options. You need to have security analysis. And one more thing is that portfolio analysis. Portfolio analysis means in your portfolio combination of investments, which investment is good, which investment is not good, which investments should be continued, which investment should be discontinued. That is what portfolio analysis. And portfolio selection, portfolio revision, and portfolio evaluation. These are the different phases of portfolio management. We'll see one by one what are these: security analysis, portfolio analysis, portfolio selection, portfolio revision, and portfolio evaluation. We'll see one by one in the slides. And if you see this portfolio security analysis, first phase of portfolio management is security analysis. This is the first phase of portfolio management. This is the first phase of portfolio management, a detailed evaluation and analysis of the various types of securities such as equity shares, preference shares, debentures, global depository receipts, means global investments, global stock investments, and euro currency bonds like bonds is performed. Like which one is good? Is exchange rate exchange policies like foreign exchange shares are good, or preference shares are good, or bonds are good? Like this analysis must be required. And risk return characteristics of each security chosen by the investor or portfolios examined. How much risk you can bear? So we already discussed in the derivatives market, there are hedgers, speculators, and arbitragers. There are three types of risk takers are there in the investments. Like hedgers means those who want to reduce the risk. They don't want to face more risk. That's why minimizing the risk in hedgers. So like this, how much risk you can bear? So risk return of the security, each analysis, how much risk is there, how much return is there in shares, how much risk and how much return is there in fixed deposits, debentures, bonds, like that. So each and every security must be analyzed in the form of risk return relationship, and evaluation of different stocks is possible in the security analysis. Next one is that portfolio analysis. What is this portfolio analysis? Different types of securities, combination of different securities will become portfolio. So now portfolio must be analyzed. Portfolio must be analyzed. What is that? Different portfolios may be there. One portfolio, one total insurance policies, different company insurance policy, different portfolio two, share market, different company shares, means manufacturing company shares, software company shares, medical company shares. Like this combination of different shares, one portfolio, combination of different company insurance policies, one portfolio. Like this, different people will have different portfolios, depends upon their investment. And each security identified as a part of portfolio, as a part of portfolio, is analyzed for a risk and return separately. So as a part of the group. Group means manufacturing sector. In manufacturing sector, in automobile, say for example, automobile shares are there. Automobile, Bajaj, Tata, and Toyota, all total automobile shares are there. That is one portfolio one. Which share is good? Bajaj company share is good. Tata company share is good. Toyota company share is good. Like this portfolio one, you have to manage. So analyzing portfolio 1, portfolio 2, like this, based on the different sectors, based on the different investments and different types of investments, the portfolio can be analyzed. A number of portfolios are reviewed to determine the best possible option, best possible, which one, portfolio 1 is good, portfolio 2 is good, like that. The risk and returns are selected, securities are assessed in various premature maturations and combination of different stocks, and with varying the numbers and proportions of each security, how many numbers are there, how much quantity of shares are there, how much cost is there. So these are all, each and every security must be analyzed in your portfolio, depends upon the number of portfolios. So that's what portfolio analysis, analyzing the each and every securities under portfolio 1, portfolio 2, like this, in different portfolios. So this is what portfolio analysis. And portfolio selection. Portfolio selection, if you see this portfolio selection, securities for building each portfolios are selected with a global providing greater returns at the given level of risk. Say for example, shares, all different combination of different company shares, it will become a share portfolio, share company, share market portfolio, a combination of different mutual funds, one portfolio, different combination of different insurance policies, one portfolio. So in that portfolio, which portfolio is good? So portfolio selection helps in selecting one or more optimal portfolio from the set of efficient portfolios. You have, say, portfolio 1, 2, 3, 4, like that. Which one is good? So with the minimum risk and maximum returns, that can be selected from the different group of portfolios. And portfolio revision. Okay, you decided that one stock, one portfolio 1 is not good. It is taking maximum risk and minimum return. So you remove that portfolio, you sell off that, you remove that portfolio. Like this, portfolio revision must be done. The shares which are not good, the portfolio which is not good, must be taken out and sell out and make it cash. And better to diversify this portfolio into another share market, another company you can buy by removing the loss making company. So like this, portfolio revision must be done. Portfolio revision may be required because of changes in the global economic and the financial markets. It might cause some securities to become less attractive. So like the less attractive shares must be taken out, and more attractive shares must be taken to your portfolio and buy and put it in your portfolio. So new securities with the higher returns and low risk emerge. So new securities are continuously changing the portfolio by removing the loss making shares and by buying the profit making shares. So that is what revision of portfolio is possible, by removing, eliminating, and old stocks and buying a new stocks. That is what a portfolio revision. And portfolio revision, if you see this risk and return, the here major thing is that portfolio revision is possible only with the risk and return. The risk borne by the portfolio over the period of assessed, and returns of actual return in the portfolio as measured quantitatively. See this portfolio one, if you see the risk and return, the assumptions are, if you see, portfolio 2 is this and portfolio 3 is this. So among all these among all these portfolio 3, if you see this, it is better, it is a better risk and return relationship is there. So this is like this risk and return must be calculated, portfolio 1 and portfolio 2 and portfolio 3, like this. The profits, how the profits are been moving, so which portfolio is giving more profits, you have to see and you have to take the decision. That is called portfolio revision. Portfolio revision, like this, you know that in that portfolio there are elements of risk involved. Element of risk, already in previous classes we have seen systematic risk and unsystematic risk. Elements of risk is involved in every investment. So in that risk, there are two types of risk: systematic risk and unsystematic risk. Systematic risk, already you know that there's a risk which is not controlled by our company or controlled by us. So it is external factor risk which cannot be controlled. Interest rate risk, because of interest rate changes, company may lose the a company may pay the more interest. Because of more interest, company may lose the profit. When the company losing the profit, it may affect on stock market. So like this, share of the company. So like this, there are indirect relationship between systematic risk and company returns. So market risk, when total market is going down, your company also goes down. So that you cannot controlling. Purchasing power risk, like inflation. When inflation is high, company returns, a company sales movement would be very less, so that returns would be very less. So like this systematic risk, which are causing external factors which cannot controlled by a company or by individual. So unsystematic risk is, it is totally internal risk. Internal risk means which can be bearable or which can be controllable by the company, like a business risk and financial risk, which the business with managing the competition is a business risk, like whether the company is giving a tough competition or not. And financial risk, whether they're managing the funds properly or not, whether when they are selling properly or not, or collecting back the funds properly, or selling, giving paying to suppliers properly or not, are they able to meet the interest expenditures or not. These are all financial risks which are under company control. So these are the elements of risk, systematic and unsystematic. When you are doing investment, these two elements are involved. And if you see this, already we discussed that systematic risk, which occurs, systematic risk which occurs because of the impact of external factors like economic, social, political, and stock market, which we cannot control, which we cannot control, like interest rates, market risk, uh, and purchasing power risk, like inflation. Like this, examples like change in the interest rate policy by the government. When interest rate changes, automatically the company also will get affected because of that interest. Because every company is taking the loan from the bank, and they are paying a principal and interest every month. So when interest rates have been changed, and company cash flows also will get affected. So like this, a credit policy, whether the company is giving more credit or not, like this, if more credit is available, companies may take more loans, and they can expand their businesses. Like this, restrictive credit policies, um, like these foreign exchange controls, these all will affect externally, which we cannot control by the company. This is called one of the systematic risk element when you are doing the investment. And one more thing is that unsystematic risk, I already told you, which is internal risk. It's the results, specific microeconomic factors that impact the returns from the securities. It can occur additional to the systematic risk, like business risk. Business risk occurs uh, business risk occurs during day-to-day activities of the business because of the changes in the business environment, technology, and other similar aspects, which is purely internal, which is can be controlled. And financial risk occurs as a result of changes in the capital structure of the company, like debts are more. Even debts are more, interest must be paid more. When interest is paying more, then company may lose its returns. So these are all different uh, uh, unsystematic risk elements which can be expected while doing investment. And portfolio return, when you are making the different set of portfolios, so the combination of all portfolio stocks will give the returns. How do we calculate those returns? Combination of different securities, whatever return we are getting, those are all portfolio return. It is meaning that portfolio return, it is a monetary return experienced by a holder of a portfolio, So it is monetary return experienced by a holder of a portfolio. It can be calculated on daily basis to serve a method of assuming that particular investment strategy. So the main components of portfolio returns are dividends and capital appreciation. So when you are maintaining the portfolio in the stock market, especially when you are investing in the stock market, you will get the two benefits, two types of returns. One is that dividends, which is the share from company profits, and capital appreciation means increasing the share price. You might have invested each share at 100, now the share price has been increased to 120. So the 20 is the capital appreciation. So that's why when you are investing in stocks, you will get the two benefits, that is dividends and capital appreciation. The formula for calculating the return, dt plus pt minus 1 by pt minus 1. So if you see this, where is this, r is equal to return, dt is equal to income received, and pt minus 1, change in the market price. Change in the market price means opening price minus closing price, and pt minus 1, market price at the beginning or initial market. So opening price and beginning price minus closing price, difference that we can put here. And the market beginning price, pt minus 1, is at beginning price, pt is equal to closing price today. This is, so like this we can calculate the return of a portfolio by taking this formula. Let us see one example here. 1 year ago, here I gave one example here. 1 year ago, the stock price of the stock was share price was 10 per share, and 10 share price, and the stock currently is trading at 9.5. 9.5 means they invested at a 10, but now presently trading at 9.5 per share, and the shareholder just received 1 rupee dividend. 1 rupee received. What is the return of over the past year? What is the return? They invested at a 10, but now share price is trading at 9.50, 9.5, and a dividend, the income they received is that 1. So what is the now portfolio return here? What is the portfolio return here? The solution, if you see this, DT means income received 1, that is dividend received 1, and PT means closing price. Today's price is 9.50, and PT minus 1 means beginning price is 10. Now PT minus 1 is beginning price. So closing price minus beginning price by beginning price, this is income. So now if you calculate this, 0.05 or 5%, your portfolio return is only 5%. Combination of all the stocks, your return is 5%. So this is what the calculation of portfolio return, when you have the combination of different stocks in your portfolio. This can be calculated by using this formula. And one more example, if you see this expected rate of return. What is the expected rate of return? Like in future, 1 year down the line, 6 months down the line, what will be the return? Expected rate of return. It is also been calculated. Expected rate of return. How do we calculate the expected rate of return? The amount of one would be anticipate receiving on an investment has various known as expected return. We can expect different rates of return, and it is usually based on historical data, is not guaranteed. Expected return is only assuming, expecting, not the guaranteed. So when your expected return results are reached, that is okay. When expected results are deviating from actual result, that is called risk. So that's what it is, usually historical data, not guaranteed, and it is a tool to determine whether or not an investment has positive or negative average net outcome. So when you are comparing the expected result and the actual result, whether it is coming negative or positive, so that can be calculated expected return by using the following formula. We have that formula to calculate the expected return. That expected return, example, a portfolio of two shares, X and Y. X and Y means in X you are investing in 70%, Y you are investing in 30%, and expected return of X is 15% you are expecting, and expected return of from Y you are expecting 12%. So expected portfolio return, combination of X and Y. How much is the expected rate of return? Combination of X and Y. Expected portfolio return is that 0.5, 70%, no? 0.5, 0.7 times 15% plus 30% is Y, and 0.3, it can be divided by 100, that's why 0.3, and the times expected return of Y is 12%. So combination of these two, the expected rate of return would be 14.1. Expected return of X and Y, combination of X and Y, your total expected rate of return is 4.1. 1%. So like this, the portfolio expected return can be calculated by using this example or a formula. So here is a question is there. Here a question is there. Here is question is there. Which of the following is one of the main components of the portfolio return? Portfolio return main component. What is the main component in capital appreciation, market analysis, business risk, or portfolio evaluation? What is the which of the following is one of the main component of portfolio return? Portfolio return is capital appreciation, because portfolio return, you may invest at a low price and it may be expected at a high price. So that's why capital appreciation is a main component of the portfolio. So that is what portfolio return. So with this, we have finished our seventh chapter and we have completed our syllabus as per the financial institutions and markets course. So thank you for listening to this, and we will meet in the next class. Thank you.